Hello. In this session, I'm joined by Girish Bedekar, who is going to show us a high-level overview of the integrated content review solution and go into a little bit of detail on how one uses this solution and how it integrates with our Photoshop as part of Creative Suite. Okay, so take it away, Girish.
Okay, so what you're seeing on the screen is a login screen for the ADEP platform. So I'm going to log in here as administrator and password. And the password is password. So what you're seeing here is the various applications which have been deployed on ADEP server. So I'm going to start off using the Integrated Content Review Solutions project management interface.
Okay, so what are we looking at here, Girish, and what's our next step?
So what you're seeing here are the various campaigns which have been created over a period of time, and what we'll start doing is create a marketing campaign and see how that is created.
Cool. Okay, let's get started.
Yeah, so the first thing is to create a new campaign, and what you see on the screen are the various properties or the attributes which you're going to assign for a campaign. So let's give a name to the campaign. Let's call it Fall Campaign. And associating a campaign manager.
Now, what is a campaign manager?
A campaign manager is a person who is responsible for the overall campaign.
Okay.
So we're going to assign Tony Blue as a campaign manager. Then we have the start and end dates for a campaign. So every campaign will need to have a start date. So in this case, the start date is going to be August the 4th, and the end date is going to be August 18th. And then there's an image for campaign. This is just a visual representation for you to identify various campaigns. So, and then we'll give a description for the campaign. So I'm going to create a couple of projects for this campaign. A campaign can have multiple projects, one or many projects. So I'm going to create a simple project.
So can you give me an example, Girish, of what a simple project might involve?
A simple project could be as simple as creating artwork that needs to be used in a particular campaign.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay, so the project name would be project. The project manager is Tony Blue. The start date and end dates, we take it from the campaign. And then project description would be create artwork. Okay, next I'm going to do is create assets for a particular project. Each project needs to be associated with one or more assets. So I'll create an asset for this particular project. Give a name. Since this asset will be created by one of our designers, we're going to leave the file field blank. The asset owner will be Tony Blue. We'll take the default start and end dates. These are coming from the campaign, so these are actually cascading down into the asset. And then asset description would be, please create artwork for newspaper ad. Okay, now once we have your asset, we are going to associate a schedule with an asset.
So are we going to make a new schedule, or can we select existing ones?
We're going to select an existing schedule, so that's how I'm going to do. So I'll assign a schedule, and what you see here are the various schedules created over a period of time.
Now, can I look inside one of these schedules before I use it to see what it involves?
Absolutely. So I'm going to select create and approve newspaper ad schedule. Then I'm going to do a preview here. And what you see here is the various stages that are in this particular schedule. So there's a creation stage, which will be done by Yakov Goldman, and then there's an approval stage, which will be approved by the super administrator. So Yakov Goldman is going to create the asset, and super administrator is going to approve that asset.
Oh, so this is cool. You can define your schedules once and then use them many times in different projects.
Absolutely. And what you see here are the durations for each of the schedule. So we associate the schedule.
Okay, so can you just expand a little bit on the schedule to see what it contains?
Sure. It contains the creation, which has the owner, and then there's an approval stage, which has the owner for the approval stage.
Okay, so right now we have a schedule defined, and the schedule is actually related to the asset, and the asset is used within the project.
Yes, and the project belongs to a campaign. So we have defined a very simple campaign which contains one project, one asset, and a schedule with 2 stages.
Cool. So what do we do next?
So we have our campaign defined. All we need to do is activate this campaign. So I'm gonna activate, and the campaign is activated now. So what it does is it creates tasks for Jacob Goldman to create an asset for the newspaper advertisement.
All right. So if I understand, then we have a task has been created to someone who needs to create the first image for the advertisement.
Correct.
And where would they see that task?
So they will see the task in the Photoshop. So this is Photoshop, and we have a plugin which hooks into integrated content review. So we'll log into that using this task list extension. So what you see here is a login screen which allows you to connect to ICR.
So we're authenticating to ADEP and using it to retrieve the existing tasks that were created.
Correct.
Okay.
So I'm going to log in as Y Goldman. So what you see here are 4 items in the task list, out of which 3 are the previously completed tasks, and the one with the asterisk is the task which is the current task which he needs to complete.
Now, what does he need to do before he completes this task?
So he needs to open up a image in Photoshop, and then work on it, and then submit that particular image.
Okay.
So I'm going to open Winter.
Okay, so now we have an image open. How do I make sure that that is going to be the image that I want to use for my advertisement?
So I need to select on the new task here, and then this UI allows me to submit the image which is displayed in Photoshop into integrated content review. So what you see here are the various metadata associated with this particular task. There's a project owner, there's a project name, campaign name, and then if you wanted, we could have given the asset width and height. Then there's a due date. And now, since I'm happy with the asset which I've created, I accept it to submit it.
Okay, so now that the person who's created the advertisement asset has completed their task, what happens next? How does the approver see what's going on and approve that advertisement?
Yeah, so once the asset has been submitted, based on the stages defined in the schedule, it will move on to the next stage. And in this case, the next stage is an approval task.
So what are we looking at here?
So what you're looking here is a workspace, which is sort of a tool where you can approve and reject your tasks.
Okay.
So I'm going to log in as administrator. And I'm going to click on the to-do list, so that will give me the to-do tasks that I've been assigned to.
So this also looks like the review and approval environment that we have had before for other use cases such as forms. So what has gone on behind the scenes here to give me a task?
So what's happened is once the artwork was submitted from Photoshop, it goes into ICR, and ICR then converts that asset into a PDF and creates a task for the person who's defined in the stage. So I see these 2 approval tasks, and then I'm going to select one of these. And what you see here is exactly the same asset which was created in Photoshop and submitted. Only thing is it's converted into PDF. Now I can view it here. I can add my various comments, and then once I'm happy with it, I could approve the asset.
Okay, so now that the task has been completed for approval, how can we go back to the overall campaign view to see all of this activity?
Yeah, so let's go back to the campaign portal and let's take a look at the campaign. Let's refresh it here, and that's the UI which we'll see here. So if you drill down into it, you can see the various tasks that have been completed by whom and when.
Okay, well that's great. Thank you very much indeed, Girish. I think this has been a great overview. Thanks.
Thank you very much.